This video is going to be a look at the impact that two of the Ravens' veteran defensive players had in the Week 4 win over the Browns, Jadeveon Clowney and Kyle Van Noy, the two guys that probably were not part of our plans 12 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. I believe Clowney was signed 7 weeks ago, but I could be wrong. Originally, the Ravens looked at both of these guys, and now we have each of them. It's quite remarkable, I think, what's happening defensively. The quality of play that's being put out there on a snap-by-snap basis by 11 players. We keep using the phrase team defense in our Discord, and I think it applies. I did a video on the Ravens' unheralded DB group earlier today. Brandon Stevens, Geno Stone, Ronald Darby, Rock Ya-Sin, and others, Arthur Millay. Kyle Hamilton, he's going to play well. But these two guys, I thought, showed tremendous effort, had an impact against the Browns. Clowney, we know, is getting in the backfield and being disruptive. He's left some plays on the field. It's concerning. You cannot leave that many sacks, potential losses, out on the field and have it not come back to haunt you at some point. But he's playing a ton of snaps, between 45 and 50 a game, I think, causing issues against the run and the pass. Van Noy showed in the limited snaps he got Sunday, 23, I believe. He showed he's a balanced player. He drops out in pass coverage well. He can win some pass rush reps. He's a savvy guy. 23 snaps. I think he was, depending on which rating service you use, he was either credited with 3 or 4 pressures. I definitely saw 2 and maybe a third that I'm not sure is a pressure, but be that as it may. I don't know how you get 4, but in any case, he played really well. Tavius Robinson, the rookie, played 37 snaps, and Owe and Ojabo clearly not on the field at all, with Ojabo now being on IR. We need one of these guys to play well and to give us a lot of snaps right now. I think both of them can. Get to the film. Like I said, Clowney's having, an impact. I'll show 2 plays against the Bengals. Kind of, if you ask me, just show you the versatility. Clowney's over here. It's a 3rd and 1. Going to tackle Joe Mixon. Sometimes he gets a little high, if you ask me. And you can see he's kind of stood up here a little bit dealing with the tackle, but he can stand his ground. It also allows Hamilton to shoot inside there in that C-gap between the right tackle and the tight end. He understands his role, number one. Number two, he's done a lot of things at the NFL level against the run and the pass. He's been asked to do many things, so he's like plug and play. And he's showing that on the field. Maybe some of the execution or the finish isn't there, but the effort is undeniable. The burst is fantastic. I can see big plays being made in big moments by both of these guys. Sack versus the Bengals in a big moment, 4th quarter on the road, week 2. It's not a super clean win, but you can see the work that's being done by his hands in the middle of the play because he's done this stuff before. Really subversive swat down with the inside hand, trying to reduce the surface contact area by getting his right shoulder kind of low, but I think he's kind of high, and that's what kind of allows him to be bumped by the tackle and pushed back a little bit to allow the pocket to stay clean for Burrow for a moment, but then his second effort, and that's the thing about Clowney right now. The effort is amazing, and at times he's overwhelming people with that effort. Let's get to the film against the Browns. First possession, Kyle Van Noy. 3rd and 8. Clean pass rush win up at the top side. Doesn't finish the sack, but these are the things that we need in this defense, this team, to be able to get people off track, off task. It's also a great play by Daryl Worley. I covered his effort on this play in the DB video that came out earlier today. But you can see Van Noy is going to get underneath of Jones, a huge specimen to deal with, and Van Noy is 33 years old, I believe. Clean win on the first possession, 3rd and 8. I think it's the second, third down that we saw. This route by Moore is coming open, and Daryl Worley's going to close on it and over on the sideline, make contact with him to help disrupt or break up the pass. Just a note on Van Noy. Sack numbers may be low if you look at career stats. I'm not down with that type of analysis. He had 5 sacks in his last 5 games for the Chargers in 2022. Kind of reminds me of Justin Houston. I don't think he's going to end up with 9.5 sacks for us, but he looks like a guy to me over a three-week period could give you 4.5 sacks. Or when might there be a time where we need someone to play really well in a 3-week stretch? The playoffs? Van Noy looks like a guy who can go through the regular season with 4.5 sacks and then all of a sudden give you 4 in a playoff run, which we hope is a deep one. All right, this is fourth possession. Clowney down at the bottom side of the screen. QB pressure. This is a brilliant job between him and Brent Urban with a stunt. It opens wide up for Clowney, and he's got to finish this play. Rocky Sin finishes it off by slamming the receiver out of bounds. There's just no question. You've got to finish this play. Brent Urban had a fantastic game too, by the way. But Urban is running upfield, picking the tackle. The left guard doesn't recognize it soon enough. Clowney folds underneath and goes after the quarterback, unable to finish the play. He's a guy that likes to sling. He likes to sling the quarterback down, and that just doesn't work with some of these guys with great balance, great center of gravity, and a great strength in their core, like pretty much most quarterbacks have. He's got to finish more of these plays. If he does, then we're talking about an unbelievable signing. All right, this is a tackle for loss by Clowney. Weird play, if you ask me. He gets credited for the tackle for loss. He does make contact with the running back. Doesn't really tackle him in the sense that you finish the play. It kind of looks like he's unsure if the running back has the ball, even though it's right in front of his face. Really weird attempt at a tackle. It works. Ford goes down. I think it's a loss of 2. Also, I want to point out on this play, you got Van Noy at the bottom, sitting and waiting. And 2 times I'm going to try to show this to you. The conflict that's created by a lot of these motions, he knows the motion is stretching someone. He can't turn around and look. He's looking at the direction of the play. But it's stretching someone, either a linebacker moving or a safety moving, whatever it is. He understands he can't do. There's 2 things he can't do. He can't just take off down the line and possibly give the quarterback a boot, basically give up the contain, because someone is being stretched by this motion. So the possibility of a bonus player there has been removed because of that motion. Additionally, he can't just run upfield to go after the quarterback sack, which some people do at times, strategically, I'm sure, because then that would open up the potential for the running back to cut it back here. So he's kind of half-manning this, if you ask me. That's really a term for defending the option, so it's not an appropriate term. But he's kind of staying in between the quarterback boot and the cutback by the running back so that he can react in either direction. And you can see there's a moment where he's not sure if the quarterback kept the football, hesitates, and then looks, and then folds back inside. Well, Clowney already got credit for the tackle. Van Noy does that, if you ask me, when there's motion to his side, because he understands how that motion is going to create a horizontal stretch in the defense. Now, you may say, we didn't do anything here, Coach. I disagree. Here's what he did. These guys know that Van Noy will play that half man, that he'll be there for the boot. What does that allow them to do? It allows them to play downhill and play fast. They don't have to worry about the boot. It allows them to play downhill, be more aggressive against the run, even though on that particular play they didn't necessarily come downhill. On this one they do, though. They're going to create their little wrong arm technique. Another example of half man, and check out the inside linebackers on this play. Same motion. It's stretching someone. Roquan and Queen are basically exchanging this, if you ask me. They do this many times. Oftentimes, it ends up being Queen, the guy who's sacrificing for Roquan, the other guy, to get the credit. What I mean is he's intentionally going underneath of something. Whatever shows up. Could be a guard, could be a center, whatever. And that allows Queen to fold over the top of that. Okay, we just call it fast flow by the backside guy. So the backside guy can play a little faster because the front side guy went underneath. You're basically predetermining the read for the running back. I think that Kyle Van Noy looks like a guy who helps other people play fast because they know he's smart enough to play slow when need to. You can see that he's sitting there waiting on the quarterback. If the quarterback boots, there is no one, not Kyle Hamilton, certainly not a corner, and you don't want your inside linebackers playing slow. He's the only guy who will be responsible to veer off and go get that. I think that we're going to see that this week coming up from the Steelers. A boot, see if our guys are disciplined enough to be there. It's a tackle for loss by Travis Jones. Just watch the surge, though. Downhill by Roquan, helping muddy the thing up. Combo blocks is what people use in zone and outside zone or stretch schemes. Inside linebackers coming downhill right now, you know what that does? Forces the combo block to leave earlier than it wants to. Watch Travis Jones get engaged. He's in between the guard and the center. Why? Because the center had to step to Roquan. I think it's all related. Why is Roquan able to play fast? He's not actively thinking about Van Noy on this play, but that guy being there, playing the technique I showed you on the last two plays, in my opinion, has a trickle-down effect or trickle-sideways effect on the inside linebackers being able to come downhill right now. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. All right, Clowney, similar conceptually to what I just talked about. You'll see a little hesitation with him on run away. Roquan is also looking to make sure the ball is handed off. So there's a little bit of a difference in the threat here. It's not under center. He could be slow playing this, he being Roquan, for the RPO. But when you get the end zone angle, you'll see he's also looking out here pre-snap, either at Kyle Hamilton, or he could be looking to see what this guy's stance looks like if he's going to run a slant replace on the RPO. Basically what they're looking for is the running back to cross face, maybe pull this linebacker with him, quarterback keep the football, throw that slant replace to the slot receiver in this area here. As it is, the quarterback gives it. I don't think it's a read. Quarterback gives it. Jadeveon Clowney chases it down from the backside. I think it's a 1 or a 2 yard gain. Give you both angles of this one more time from the All-22. Maybe you may think that I'm overestimating their impact. These guys are professionals. What I mean is Clowney and Van Noy have been asked to do a ton of different techniques across their career. You'll watch Roquan here one time. Look off screen to our right, potentially looking at the receiver. So maybe he's not, quote, slow playing this. Maybe he's just looking somewhere else prior to the snap. But in any case, Clowney's not slow playing it. He's gone. Chases it down from the backside against Kareem Hunt. Awesome play. Pass deflection on the next play. I think this is earlier in the game, by the way, to Van Noy. And there's a receiver breaking open that appears to be the guy who's going to be targeted by this. So it's a fortunate play by us. And the way he does the swat also, too, is perfect. He doesn't just have his hands up in the air so the ball deadens when it hits his hands. He's actually swatting down with his hands or forward with his hands to try to get the ball to deflect up in the air. But it's perfect timing on it. You do, just so you know, you do drills on this stuff so that the guys don't tip it up to themselves so that they're swatting it and the velocity of the ball hitting their hands coming forward at the same time creates that bouncing up effect of the football as opposed to a deadening of your hands by not moving them at all. Van Noy does a lot of little things very well, if you ask me. I think you've got an example here of these two guys in a straight pass rush situation. I believe this is a speed rush by Clowney. Are we going to win a ton of straight edge rushes with these guys? Well, I mean, no. Like, they're not 10 sacks a season guy, but that's a simplistic mentality. We are third in the league in sacks right now. Are we going to continue to be third in the league in sacks? I don't know. But we have guys who can get things done in the pass rush. Who cares who it is that gets the sack? I don't understand why people care that we've got to have an edge rusher with 15 sacks or 12 sacks or whatever. Besides, getting sacks is sometimes, I don't want to say luck, because getting pressure is what you need more of. Consistent pressure. You got a guy like Khalil Mack who just posted up 6 sacks, but then he's also had 1.5 seasons where he had very inconsistent production on sacks. We need pressures. And Patrick Queen, our D tackles, particularly Travis Jones, Justin Madubuike, when we get Owe back, hopefully healthy, he's a guy that can play a role in that equation. These two guys are sustaining us right now across run and pass concepts in a way that, admittedly none of us expected. We would have predicted they would come over and play well. I don't know that we would have predicted they would come over and play this well across a multitude of techniques. You saw Clowney stunting inside. You've seen Clowney win off a speed rush or edge rush against the Bengals right tackle. A nice hand technique move. And then I do think he's playing a little bit high sometimes. Van Noy looks to be a little more compact, a little wider frame. So it's possibly easier for him to not play high because just by stance and alignment, he's not a high player like Clowney is. But I am, first of all, thankful that we have these guys because they are plug and play. And I'm really interested to see what Van Noy's usage looks like moving forward. Hopefully we get Bowser back at some point, but I haven't heard any update on that situation. Right now, Van Noy and Clowney are getting us through this really weird situation where we don't have Owe, we don't have Ojabo, and Bowser, who I think had a non-football injury. Looks like he's still going to be out at least up through 6 weeks of the season. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know if you're as impressed with these veterans playing well, playing with a high motor and a high intensity level. The energy is there from both of them. If you're not as impressed as me, that's no problem. I think these guys can get the job done with what they're being asked to do so far. Still surprised at how many snaps Clowney's playing. 49 snaps, I think, on Sunday. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this content, this film study look at these two veteran edge rushers, outside linebackers, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.